Hello everyone, this is Review! Well, hello ladies, gentlemen, and everyone watching. Welcome one and all to this newest edition of the Unnamed Drink series. It is a series where I review, well, I don't really know what to call this, so I'm going to put it under that label anyway, even if it's not technically, it's not really food, it's not really a drink, it's a McFlurry. But I wanted to do that intro, quite frankly, just for the heck of it, because it's admittedly fun to do. Nonetheless, with that out of the way, it's been a while. Been a while since I've been here at the camera. Been under a day, as a matter of fact. But I mentioned a few videos ago that there were going to be a lot of releases toward the middle and end of May, and indeed there are. And today's review is for the new Grandma McFlurry from McDonald's. McDonald's said, let's honor the grandmas out there, and we're going to do it by having a limited time McFlurry available. So it's the Grandma McFlurry. Now, initially, because there were some rumors going around online that you actually wouldn't be allowed to get this unless you actually are a grandma, and I wasn't sure if they had like an age verification system or something in place, and like if they were vetting people at the door, but you do not need to be a grandma in order to get this. This is just to commemorate the grandmas, but anyone, whether or not you actually are a grandma, can actually get this, and nothing bad is going to happen to you if you do, so you're safe. That's what's important. The Grandma McFlurry, it's a silly concept, though admittedly, it's more inventive than the item from Burger King that I tried out last night, which was the Philly Melt. At least this one is sort of, it has what I thought would be on it, and it's definitely more authentic, I would say, than that stupid thing I tried yesterday, because this comes, it's simple, mind you, but this comes with 3 ingredients: vanilla ice cream as the base, then it comes with butterscotch syrup, butterscotch pieces, and then it's all mixed together as a McFlurry, which, again, it's not really a drink. It is what it is. It's a McFlurry. It's in a category of its own, but usually you could just eat it as you would ice cream with a spoon. I mean, I suppose if you really wanted to let it melt, you probably could drink it, but you usually just eat it. And it is available at the price of $5. So at least it's, there's a degree of originality to this. I was thinking, as far as this would go, there would have to be that butterscotch element to it, because, that's something that a lot of people will associate with grandmas and all of that stuff, and sure enough, there is. So, simple, but I mean, it sounds good. Sounds good. Price is $5, though, but it's a limited time item. You could see it has very, very exclusive packaging. It actually was advertised, though, as having special branding, but obviously this isn't. This is just a regular receptacle with the McDonald's logo, though. For a better view, because I would wager this is sort of reflecting some of the light, I'll remove the top, but you could already sort of see some of the butterscotch there. And let's do just that. I think this is going to be a pretty quick review, pretty straightforward. There we go. It's a better focus. So you can see the vanilla ice cream. And then again, those solid pieces are butterscotch. And then the stuff that looks like popcorn butter is just butterscotch syrup. They call it grandma syrup, but it's actually just butterscotch syrup. Or, I mean, maybe it is. Maybe they're just going to be messing with me and it is popcorn butter. Guess I'll find out in a moment. There you go. I can actually smell. I can smell. My nose still works. But I can smell the butterscotch a little bit, which is interesting. Now, they didn't include a spoon, happens sometimes. Not the first time, and I'm sure it won't be the last time. Honestly, not the biggest deal in the world. I have a plastic spoon right here, which I shall use thusly to try it out and see how good or bad it is. So, the Grandma McFlurry from McDonald's limited time. Let's see how it is. For the grandmas. One more spoonful. So, as I figured, there's really not a ton to say about this, except for the fact that finally, because I know there have been a few reviews lately, I think consistently in a row, that the items have been quite subpar. So I am pleased to say this time around, this actually tastes good. Very happy with it. Granted, the components aren't necessarily all that. It's very, very basic. There's the vanilla ice cream, and there's the butterscotch, syrup, and pieces, and that's all that there is to it. So you're not going to be expecting a ton as far as the flavors are concerned. And so granted, it is very straightforward. However, something doesn't need to be extremely complex and have a ton of elements to be good. As a matter of fact, sometimes the most simple items can be some of the best. And this, it's straightforward, but I'm very happy with it. It's sweet, has a vanilla base, which is pleasant, but it's not overwhelming. It's not overbearing. Granted, there are very few instances where vanilla is. Vanilla usually is quite good either by itself or as a base for things to be built upon, and in this case it does serve, I think, as a very suitable base. Texture of the ice cream is good. It's smooth, and it's just the right consistency. It's like soft serve ice cream, and it's not too watery, but it's not like it's extremely hard either. So it's has a nice smoothness to it, nice sweetness as well, good base to it. And then you have the butterscotch syrup and pieces. They both taste the same. They both taste simply like butterscotch. Very sweet, but again, none of this is to the point where it's overwhelmingly sweet. This is obviously what you would call a sweet treat of sorts, but I would say it's very well balanced. And the butterscotch complements the vanilla quite nicely, and vice versa. They work very nicely. The butterscotch isn't too, again, intense. It's not too overpowering or overbearing. The syrup is sort of mixed in there with the ice cream. You will be able to distinguish it, but then, as you take each bite, it'll sort of melt in a sense, in your mouth, and it'll distribute thusly. So it's not as though it's just these frozen little globs of it or anything like that. So the butterscotch syrup is nice. And then you will definitely notice those butterscotch pieces, and there are a good amount of them in there. I'm sure you could see a few from the top, but there were more in there, and by the spoonful I could really notice them, and I would take that bite of it, and then I would notice the spoonful, and I'd be able to feel them, and they actually have a nice little crunch to them as well, texturally speaking, and it's an interesting juxtaposition, I would say, in regards to the difference between the smoothness that, again, the ice cream and the syrup possess, compared then to sort of the crunchy solidity that the butterscotch pieces have. But it works out nicely, and it's sort of fun to actually be able to have that difference where it's not just like it's overly smooth. You can have a nice little crunch to it as well. And again, it just tastes like the butterscotch. Same as the syrup, very sweet, but not to excess. I think this is just it's a simple item, just a nice blend of the butterscotch and vanilla ice cream, but it's pleasant. It's, like a nice little sweet treat, I would say. And again, it's not excessively sweet, nor excessively butterscotchy, for lack of a better word. But I think it's a nice item overall. It's pleasant. Now, granted, I do like butterscotch, so there's that. But I'm a fan of it. I think it's a good item. All things considered, simple. $5 for what it is, but, it's a limited time item, and at least it tastes good for what it is, so the price, I think, is all right. And again, limited time. It's for the grandmas, but anyone can get it. But I'm happy with it. I think it's a good item, very solid, nice little dessert. And as a result, I've only good things to really say about this, so I'm going to give it a good rating. I'm happy with it. Thought they did a good job. I like that, of course, they included the butterscotch element to it. I thought they would... Because at first they didn't announce what the ingredients were going to be. I thought it has to be butterscotch, and indeed it is. Happy to see that. And therefore, out of 10, I'm going to give the Grandma McFlurry from McDonald's a 9 out of 10. I'm happy with it. Tastes good, and I'd recommend, if it sounds like it's something of interest to you, go out, get it while the getting is good. It's not going to be here forever, and make the most of it, because it's a decent item, pleasant little dessert. So, all things considered, a good release, and one that I am happy with. And with that, that's all that I have today. In addition to this channel, by the way, just a quick little promotion, just throwing it out there so you know that it exists. I also do a radio show and a podcast. Do the radio show twice a week, every week. It needs your support, though, to stay on the air, to keep it going. There are a lot of costs that go into producing the show and being able to do it. One way that you could support the show, if you like what you hear, you want to hear more of it, or you just want to check it out, patreon.com. I have a Patreon page. It helps support this channel, but again, it also supports my podcast and radio show. If you do want to check it out, patreon.com/TheReportOfTheWeek. The link is also in the pinned comment and in the description down below. And if you do support it on the Patreon, very least I could do is offer some exclusive content, and you could also listen in to all the radio show and podcast episodes, thousands of them, thousands of hours of additional content, if you want to support. Anyway, it's just there if you want to do that or not. Check out the link, though, if it's of interest. Understand, I have to just throw these things out there periodically so you know that they exist. And that's all that I have for you. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm your host, The Report of the Week.